What's up, everybody? This is the Smokin Joe radio show coming to you live on a rainy and thundery Tuesday morning, August 10th. What are we talking about today? Baker Mayfield. Yes, Baker Mayfield. You know, he has a contract situation coming up. They did pick up his 5th year option, so he signed through 2022, but 2023 is a different story. A lot of the question is, you know, when are they gonna start talking to him about the contract? When are they gonna sign him, and how much are they gonna sign him for? I'm not sure if it's a question of whether they're gonna sign him or not. But as we dig into some more of this info, some more of these stats, something about it, you start to. Maybe your opinion will change. Who knows? So Baker Mayfield was the man who ended the 635-day losing streak. Wrap your head around that. That's almost 2 years of losing that the Cleveland Browns went through. And I'm a diehard Browns fan, so I was a witness of that. I was part of that. This is not anything that anybody wants to be a part of. Right, ask the Lions. Right, I'm not even sure if they ever recovered from it. But Baker Mayfield took them to their first win in 19 games. So all of 2017 they didn't win. Then the following year, here comes the kid from Texas high school football. A walk-on at Oklahoma after transferring from Texas Tech, a guy who bet on himself. You know, he stepped in against the Jets. And I remember that game, and I remember how when he walked in, and the hope that I felt like, all right, we've heard about it, he's the number 1 pick, we're about to see it. And then once you saw him start playing, you wondered, why did Tyrod Taylor even see the field, Hugh Jackson? Huh? So, he steps in, he wins that game. Here we are. Following year, people in Cleveland, or not following year, following couple years, after the whole Freddie Kitchens debacle, oh my God, can we just bypass that? I almost think that's worse than the Hugh Jackson era because what do we really expect from Hugh Jackson? 5 wins. And we were off. We were significantly off, right? 5 wins. If we would have got 5 wins in 2 years under Hugh Jackson, we would have loved it, right? Let alone 5 a season. So we look at Baker's contract, and when are they going to sign him, and for how much? How do you assign a player's worth? You know, what is Baker worth? I don't even know. I mean, this is the land where QBs come to die, right? Memes upon memes upon memes about quarterbacks in Cleveland. If you look at the list of names since '99, it looks like your Thanksgiving invite list, right? It looks like a small wedding list. It is unreal. They should have a family reunion special where they gather all of the old Browns quarterbacks and they sit there and they just talk about how awful it was. The team did pick up his 5th year option, so he signed up through 2022. In 2023, become an unrestricted free agent unless, you know, they do the franchise tag. Well, let's hope something's done by then, right? Whether it's one way or the other. One way or the other. You can't sit on a guy if you don't think he's the one, and you can't pay him if you don't think he's the one. So I think one way or the other, we need to know. But what is he worth? I mean, pro sports is insane. How can you tell somebody what they're worth? Well, I guess the only way to do it is to measure this person against the other people in the league, against the other people who are at the same position, who basically are his co-workers, right? So, Recently, Josh Allen signed a $43 million a year deal. Josh Allen was, so they say, an MVP candidate. That's for you guys to debate. I don't know enough about Josh Allen. I think that he's good, and I think that there's a lot of other QBs I'd rather have. But the discussion is not whether I'd rather have Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield. So we're not going to talk about that. But Buffalo, they know. They've got their guy. Great. What about the Browns? The Browns have never had their guy, right? Since '99, there hasn't been a guy. So when I read these thoughts from Tony Grossi from ESPN in Cleveland, the Browns have chosen opposite strategy. It's obvious now. It's obvious to me. It's what I think is now happening. The number they knew all along it was going to take for a franchise quarterback just spooks the Browns analytics department. They do not want to commit to that number. They haven't even talked to Baker's people to get that number. They just know it's 40 plus million a year. They don't want to devote that kind of money to the quarterback, especially now with the stars that they have coming up. So, they're not sold on Baker? This is what I'm reading into. They're not sold on Baker. If Baker was the guy, you're locking in your guy, and then you're filling people around him to fit him. What they're saying is we're filling the people around, and then are going to worry about the quarterback. Now, the salary cap does have some changes that come up over the next few years. Maybe they're trying to bank on that. Maybe they need to see another season with Baker. But when you think about that, they're saying that the Browns have built a solid team of talent. Yes, it's true. Think about it. The words. The Browns have built a solid team of talent. Now they have to try to find a way to keep as much of that talent as possible. Miles Garrett, Chubb, Hunt, Landry, Ward, Beckham. They got some under contract. They're filling others under contract. How much can they pay Baker? After all these stars line up, how much can you pay Baker Mayfield? What's going to be left? I can't believe it. I feel like, we're asking this. I mean, Baker is a top 15 QB, right? He should be worth it. There should be no question. I mean, Josh Allen, had an MVP type season, so he's going to get that money. I don't think Baker deserves the same amount as Josh Allen. That's not an argument there. But, he did save this franchise. But don't forget about their offensive line. They're going to need paid too, right? They're going to need paid. So how do you pay them? And we've seen Baker under pressure, right? We've seen when that O-line's bad. We've seen how Baker can get flustered and make these decisions that just blow your mind. Like, why would you do that? He gets flustered behind that line. I think that there is going to be an issue with trying to keep everything that the Browns have built, because it all has finally culminated. But now what? Right? You got to keep all that, and we know that that's just impossible in this league. So with the Browns locking up all the talent, they're going to see what's left to offer Baker. It could be a good pitch. You think about it, Baker. Take less money. This is what we have to offer you. But look at this team that's locked in around you. Look at the guys that you're going to have running with you for the next 4, 5, 6 years. This is where it gets interesting. How much money doesn't matter, right? If Baker bets on himself and thinks he takes a lower contract now and then in 6 years, probably renegotiates in 4 years and re-ups with a bigger contract after they win a chip, maybe 2, would it be worth it? So how does Baker rank against the other current QBs, so we could kind of gauge what he would be worth. I'm not big into QB rating, but there's got to be a rating, right? There's got to be some sort of number. They've decided it. They've done the math. The highest rated eligible QB. Now we're not talking about the guys who throw one pass. Because if we were talking about guys who throw one pass, we're talking about Jarvis Landry with the perfect 158.3 passer rating for a 37-yard touchdown bomb. But we're not. So we're talking about highest rated eligible QBs at QB rating. Number one's Aaron Rodgers, 121.5. That is ridiculous. That is so efficient. Super efficiency. Watson, 112.4. Mahomes, 108.2. Josh Allen, 107.2. Solid, man. Ryan Tannehill, 106.5. Drew Brees, 106.4. And then we got to go down this list. And then we get to Baker, 95.9. Well, who else is like him? Around him, who's in that area? Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford, Gardner Minshew, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Not guys that you probably want to sit around at a number one pick. I mean, maybe Matt Stafford but at this age, Rivers, he ain't in the league no more. It's not the company you want to keep, Baker. But it's only QB rating, right? He passes the eye test, right? I'm sure that the Browns have some sort of algorithm figured out to judge Baker on their own. So we're not going to just go off the QB rating. They're not going to make decisions we're making, but we are fans, right? I hope they don't use it. If they use QB rating, Gardner Minshew, who's around the same rating as Baker Mayfield, is making $2.7 million over 4 years. Pretty sure Baker's not going to take that offer. Ryan Fitzmagic. I love watching him play, man. He's just a gunslinger. He's one of those guys, man, you would love to have as a backup on your team, like Luke McCown. McCown? Yeah, McCown. Yeah, Luke McCown. He got 1 year for $10 million. Pretty sure that Baker is not going to accept that. So if we're not looking at QB rating as a one-all, be-all, what about yards? Yards have to have some value in a passing league, right? Well, he had less than Ryan Tannehill on a team that was known for Derrick Henry running the ball and leading the league in rushing. Ben Roethlisberger, who threw more short passes or more passes under 4 yards than any other QB. And Teddy freaking Bridgewater. No, it didn't freeze. Teddy Bridgewater threw for more yards than Baker Mayfield. Okay, well, you know what? We gotta look at TDs then, because I am a Browns fan. I do love Baker Mayfield. I love his moxie. I love the way he fights and the way he works. He represents Cleveland, right? What about touchdowns? He has less than Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, and Kirk Cousins. Okay. So, solid QBs, right? But Baker has a great arm. We saw it. I loved it. The one game he dropped back, he threw that Hail Mary. It was, I think they said 70 yards. It may have gone out of the back of the end zone, right? So he has to be good with the long ball. So there's that long ball potential. So how about passes over 20? He has less passes over 20 than Jared Goff. Who, I admit, I think Jared Goff's got a better arm than what I give him credit for. just something about his game that I don't like. I'm not sure what it is. It's just not very fun to watch. He has less 20-yard passes than Teddy Bridgewater. Again, so is Teddy Bridgewater the direct measuring stick for Baker Mayfield? Statistically wise, it seems to be. Kirk Cousins threw more long balls. Guy, I don't know if he's known for his arm strength or going deep. But he had his moments in Minnesota. They got a great receiver up there to work with. And Ben Roethlisberger, who also threw more short passes than any other QB probably in the history of the NFL. He threw more passes over 20 than Baker, Mayfield. So, who else threw? Those are more. Who threw the same amount? Drew Lock. So, an equivalent of long ball efficiency or however you want to judge that would be Drew Lock. I mean, this doesn't get any better. I don't. When I made this list and when I looked at these stats and when I started putting it together, I did not feel better than when I started. However, if Trent Dilfer can win one, why not, right? Here's where we talk something different. How does he compare to other Browns QBs? I could probably just walk away right there because he doesn't. He's better than them all. So that leads us to something. When you look at the Browns' history, Timmy Couch was a good quarterback, man. I think he got a raw deal. I think on the right team in the right scenario, he could have been good. If we would have drafted McNabb instead of Couch, I think it would have made all the difference, especially with a bad offensive line. I mean, there's more Browns QBs. I mean, the list is stupid. I'm not going to go through all. We're going to highlight some of the most popular ones, like Kelly Holcomb, who had a splash. He was like Derek Anderson, who I think he's still in the league. So I think he's still in the league. Derek Anderson, maybe he's coaching. Oh, Doug Peterson. Don't forget Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning coach. He was a QB on our team. Charlie Fry. I think didn't he get traded in the middle of a game? You know what happened? He got benched at halftime because he got traded. Jeff Garcia, who had the 95-yard touchdown on a little drop back. Here's at the end zone, drop back, throw, boom, got it, go on. I think it was maybe Michael Jackson. And that's all I remember. Oh, that's all I remember out there. Oh, and speaking of Trent Dilfer, the analyst, he quarterbacked for us. Brady Quinn, who looked the part. He was a fan, grew up a Browns fan, wanted to be a quarterback. He just couldn't play football. He couldn't play. Colt McCoy, who I'll tell you honestly, I once got in an argument with somebody, right? And this wasn't no drunken bar argument, right? This was legit. This was a legit argument that I think or thought at the time. Now I probably can't. I could throw further than Colt McCoy. I used to be able to hit 60 yards in a row, right? Maybe if I wanted to make my arm feel like jello after a few throws, I could hit 60, 65, 64, something like that. I would have liked to challenge him. Because I don't think he had it in him. And when I proved that I could hit that mark, the argument wasn't won, but there was more validity to it, right? Brandon freaking under the flag Whedon. How do you get stuck under the American flag when your awareness is that off that you get stuck under the American flag when you're leading out and you're doing all? You already know he ain't gonna work out. Jason Campbell. Yeah. Brian Hoyer, who is a Cleveland legend and should have been the franchise QB in the eyes of everybody in Cleveland from specific areas. He's Matthew Dellavedova or something. He just can't do any wrong. Johnny the Money Phone Trainwreck Manziel. Yeah, I had a jersey. I'm going to keep it real. I had a jersey. You had a jersey too. You were rooting for him. You wanted some of that action, but no. No, yeah, don't lie. Cody Kessler? Not even sure who that is. Does he still play? He's still on a team? Is he in the league? Is he anything? Hey, Josh and Luke McCown. Come on, bring your family. Who else wants to try out QB for the Browns, right? Bring your family, bring your friends. Everybody gets a shot here in the rotating wheel of QB death. But I'll tell you, man, Luke McCown, fighter, soldier. I seen him go through so much crap for a bad team. Oh my goodness, man. He deserves maybe not a statue in Cleveland, but maybe a plaque somewhere. Maybe a plaque on one of the hospitals, on the Cleveland Clinic wing, right? RG3? Yeah. Did anybody really think that was going to work? Did anybody really like that signing? I mean, I don't understand what the point was there. And then Deshaun Kaiser, I mean, now we're just like, we're taking darts and we're looking at a dartboard and we're just seeing what's gonna stick and land. And then finally we got Baker. Read that list again and tell me why that list isn't worth $40 million a year. I don't understand why there's an issue with paying a QB who is changing your franchise from a losing franchise to a winning franchise. Now, whether it's all on his shoulders or not, that remains to be seen. When you have somebody like Nick Chubb, of course you're going to give him the ball. When you have someone like Kareem Hunt, you're going to get them the ball. It's going to affect your yards. It shouldn't affect your efficiency. Maybe it affects your touchdowns. Maybe he isn't top 10. But what I'll ask you is, if you're not going to pay Baker, if you're not going to give him $40 million a year, somebody will. Okay? Somebody will. So if you're not going to do it and you don't like to do that and you don't think the analytics and the numbers and the stats that I provided line up, then I ask you, I challenge you to give me a better plan. Who else are you going to get to quarterback the Cleveland Browns if you do not sign Baker Mayfield? You can tell me that. Leave it in the comments below. If not, pay the man and let's go Brownies. Thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the Smokin Joe Radio Show. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe, and make sure that you share. Appreciate y'all. Out.